Education Affairs Academy. We saw in our group two strong leaders of the newsroom. We called them an executive editor and an accountability editor. They would sort of oversee all newsroom operations and would oversee things based on their own skill sets. We didn't really decide who would be in charge of what. We then saw a content editing team, very similar to the first group, that would break it down to breaking news, which would then have 5 reporters, a lifestyles team that would have 4 reporters plus a clerical aide. That group would deal with the arts and entertainment, would be in charge of that section, and would also deal with outdoors, health, environment. Then we went to a sports section that had 8 reporters underneath it, plus 1 editor. A visual team with 1 editor, plus 9 visual journalists. The hope was that they could both take photos and do videos at the same time and be interchangeable. We saw a community UGC coordinator. He or she would just deal with the user-generated content and farm it out to editors, or when needed, also be kind of one of the public faces of the newsroom, be out in the community soliciting volunteers. We then saw a government team, 1 editor with 7 reporters. Those would cover all the cities in Collier and Lee County, all the county governments, and the school districts. We then broke it down to a North community editor plus business. That person would cover all the communities, the northern half of Collier and South Lee. That editor plus they would deal with all the business stuff. And that has 4 reporters underneath it. And then a southern community team with 1 editor and 2 reporters. And we saw Vista being handled by reporters across. We didn't set aside one specific Hispanic reporter. We saw it as everyone would cover these things, and also Vista would be handled, the editing would be handled by one of the community editors. We also saw 1 floating night editor to handle things in the afternoon and evening as they progressed, plus a clerical aide for the newsroom.
Well, we had Jeff Lytle on our team who told us what he would like in an ideal opinion world, but we separated opinion out with 1 opinion editor and then an assistant opinion editor who would be more like a columnist, but in the event that the opinion editor needed a hand, or went on vacation, what have you, he or she would take that responsibility, and then obviously they would have 1 clerical person. And then we also, our third component is a web development special projects database team, which would have an interactive online editor, 2 developers, a visualization developer, 3 templators, 1 editorial database person who would float between that team and the newsroom, and then we allocated 2 people to helping promote our products, outside of our usual, like naplesnews.com.
And then our copy and design desks, we wanted them to be separate. Our copy desk would have a copy chief or an leader overseeing all of them. We then broke it down that there would be copy editors for all the specific items. So there would be breaking news copy editors focused on breaking news or opinion, lifestyles, all the topics that we had chosen. And then for the design team, rather than setting it up, we had a chief plus a pool of 9 designers, which would be allocated as needed. So designers could be designing the daily, designers could be designing the niche publications, and just all helping out when needed.
Did we want to show them the workflow?
Yeah, we also had a work show, Swarm chart.
Maybe that.
Yep.
Good for extra credit.
We had the strong leader overseeing everything, and the assignment content editors would oversee the reporters, the UGC, the visual journalists, and they'd be communicating back and forth. Once something came in, like a breaking news story, that would then be edited by the reporter would work on it, send it back to their editor to read it. It would then go to the copy editing, web and print section, which would go online and then be sent to the design. Questions?
Why break the copy editing down by section? Is that how we currently do it?
No.
I think the idea was that whenever any content is produced, any content, whether it be a web update or anything, it immediately pulses down through the copy editor and gets edited, hopefully twice before it goes online, and quickly, because that desk is focused entirely on copy editing, both web and print. And then of course that reduces workload on the end because the content has already been edited earlier in the day. The design desk is it was kind of vague there, but the idea there is that they're doing graphics, they're developing the look and feel of both our web and our print products, and laying out the print products. So web updates, for instance, would go right through copy editors and go right online immediately. But the story would go into the design desk, be laid out on the page, and then the print product would come out. Also notice on the right-hand side, the web development, the special projects, all that is working in coordination with the design, so that the design of those products, the designers, our graphics staff, is close to the individuals that are developing, among other things, those 5 projects that we talked about.
And Stephen, I don't think that you have to split them up in a certain way. I think we just had 9, so we were like, oh, let's just do that. I mean, there doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, I think with some sections it might make sense to have a dedicated person on the copy desk who's only reading, arts copy, especially, during, a deadline, production type of thing. But I don't think that you have to have specifically. I just think we just broke it out that way.
Also, under this format, you could have someone around at all times. There could be somebody who was there early who could handle breaking news coming in. It also gives them, things like lifestyles. It would give you a familiarity with the topics you're reading on a semi-regular basis.
Who decides what goes to the community post?
We saw it as a whole shared idea. However, the community editors, the North community editor would deal with the banner, and the South would deal with the Eagle and the Citizen. But we saw it as a sharing. Everybody shared and would just grab when needed.
And the designers play a role in that as well,
yeah,
in terms of maintaining the identity of the niche publication.
So we saw the implementation 60 days from when we decided this was the way to go. We saw it happening. It could happen probably within 62 days or so.
The 5 things that we voted on, can you point out where those
oh yeah.
fall?
We would follow the arts and entertainment, which was determined to be a key category, would fall under lifestyles, as well as the outdoors, the Everglades 10,000 Island. We could see that falling, since environmental reporters would be under there, health reporters. Golf would be under sports, because that's naturally where the golf would be. The fishing, I think we had under lifestyles as well. But it could also go under sports. Yeah.
Will you have specific people that are on those particular topics, or is that just a sports extra project?
It would be the sports editor could, if it's golf, it would say, sports editor feels like he can bring it on, take care of that. He could deal with it, he or she could deal with it. However, they would also have the ability to, if there's somebody on your team who knows everything there is to know about golf, and that's their only job, is when we broke it down into reporters, we said, there would be golf reporters, there would be FGCU, prep. So if your golf reporter is amazing and can handle this, we would then give the manager or the editor the ability to say, you can really deal with this. This is going to be your special thing. Yeah.
One to address Penny's earlier question. Our regional editors would function similar to what they have too. It would be you know, your North Naples and South Lee person up north, and then your Marco Lely person would be that South region. So they would be somewhat community specific, but that function could overlap with any publication.
And we also saw that like a Marco Island City Hall reporter would probably be under the government editor, but would be taking stuff for the South community for the Eagle, or the Nita Springs reporter would be under government, but would be used in the Banner